As I shoot this video, we're still in the midst of a pandemic, and one of the huge changes has been that many of us, some of us for the first time, have been working from home this past year. And what's more, that trend is probably going to continue. However, one issue has also become very apparent: the amount of people who are feeling loneliness from that position of working at home. Today, we're going to explore, how do you combat loneliness when working from home? When we first started working from home, so many people were thrilled. They enjoyed the ability to do so many different things while still working from home. However, as time has gone on, I'm hearing from more and more people that they're actually struggling with loneliness. So let me offer you now 7 practical tools that you might want to explore for combating loneliness when working from home. The first tool is your schedule and keeping your schedule. You know, it's very interesting. What I hear from people is that once they've been working from home, everything begins to look the same. One day blends into the next day. And so everything can seem to be the same. And so I think it's really important that each and every day we kind of look at our schedule. We kind of look at what we're trying to achieve that day. And as well, to begin to mix things up. So if we see that our schedule is looking the same day in, day out, how can I add a few different things to that schedule to mix it up, to perhaps change the dynamics of the day so that everything just doesn't seem to be the same day in and day out? Number 2 is to keep active. You know, I was having a conversation with a client of mine a few weeks ago, and he was saying that it's just so easy to be so immersed in your work that you forget about everything else. He gets up in the morning, he grabs a sandwich and sits down, takes the sandwich in front of the computer, and before he knows it, it's the afternoon. And so what we have to be careful about is to be very deliberate on activity. You know, our best work, our best thinking is never done when we're spending hours and hours in the same situation or the same posture. And so therefore it's important to integrate some forms of activity, preferably if we can get outside just to breathe air. Maybe it's going for a walk, maybe it's some form of yoga or stretching. And you know, it doesn't have to be hours on end. Sometimes what I like to do is to mix it up throughout the day. And every hour, every 90 minutes, to get up for 10 minutes and just to walk outside, walk a few hundred paces, breathe some air, and then come back in again. That subtle change, that activity, is enough to mix things up, and also it helps widen our focus on other things apart from work. Number 3 is to do something meaningful. You know, part of feeling isolated at home is that we have at times lost that connection that what we are doing has meaning. And so therefore it's always good to do something that impacts the lives of other people. Now, maybe your organization that you're working from at home has a charity that they help out, has an organization that they partner with, and maybe find out about how you can volunteer from that even at home. And if that's not the case, find something that you can do that really is connected to a cause that's meaningful for you. You know, there are many things that we can do from home. We can make phone calls. We can do different types of presentation work that helps an organization make connections to its donors. There's lots of different things that we can do that truly help us feel that we are helping the common good and that we are being connected to something that's much bigger than ourselves. Number 4 is explore the different areas that give you comfort in your life. You know, one of the things that's really important, and I'm hearing from a lot of my clients, is that they are losing their work-life balance. That because it's so easy to work from home, one of the problems is boundaries. That they find that all of a sudden, instead of working a 10-hour day, sometimes it's a 12 or even a 15-hour day. And so therefore, it's very important to make sure that we are taking mental breaks and doing things that really we enjoy and give us laughter in our lives. So perhaps it's cooking a wonderful home-cooked meal, or perhaps it's watching a comedy show that just makes us laugh. Or one of the things that a client of mine was saying is that they have been accessing some of the museums around the world that are offering free virtual tours. So she told me the other day, last week I visited the Louvre, and the week before I went to one of the big museums in Italy, and I thought, wow, that's fascinating. It's a way of doing something that truly enriches us and helps us feel as well that we are bigger than just the confined space that we're in. If you're enjoying the content in today's video, I invite you to subscribe, press the bell below. You will be notified of new videos as they come out. And each week I strive to provide an educational video around the area of emotional intelligence, which will help us improve our relationships both at work and at home. The fifth tool is future planning. You know, one of the things, if you're like me, during this past year of the pandemic is that time kind of stopped. I kind of forgot what it was like to plan for the future because the future was unknown. I'm a huge traveler. I love to explore new areas, and really I kind of lost the impetus to think about where I might visit. And then I suddenly realized that that was robbing me of something that was really important, and that is a future orientation, that my life has something to look forward to. So if you are working from home, make sure that you have a folder with all your bucket list and your future plans. Make sure you're thinking about what's in the horizon for you for the future, be it a course that you want to take, be it a trip that you want to take, or be it a new skill that you hope to learn. All of that's really important to give us this mindset that the future holds something that we're really excited about. Number 6 is to mix it up, especially our workplace. You know, some of us live in very small workspaces, especially at home, and so we're very confined in that it can seem at times a little suffocating. Now, even if the pandemic ends, it really is up in the air what the future of work will look like, but more likely than not, many of us are going to continue working from home at least for part of the time. And so therefore it's important to think about how might I mix that up a little bit. Now maybe that would mean that one day we can take our computer outside into a park that we enjoy, find a bench and do some work from there. Maybe it is once a month renting out a shared workspace, even if just for half a day, that we can get the feel and the energy of people around us. But think about that. Think about how you might mix up the place that you work in so that you're adding a little bit of ingenuity, a little bit of difference, and a little bit of unexpected to the workday. And the 7th tool I want you to consider is be absolutely ruthless in making a lunch appointment with yourself. I think I referred to it earlier, the friend I was in conversation with, that very often what happens is the lunch just blends in with the rest of the day. They get up from their chair, they go to the fridge, they get a sandwich, they sit right back at the computer and they eat the sandwich. And of course, that's the temptation. It's so easy to do. But what I want to suggest is that you at least make a half an hour appointment with yourself. Make that lunch sacred. And make it a break when you're able to do something completely different. Preferably get outside if you can, if the weather's good, get some breath of fresh air, and just really detach from the work that you're doing. You know, you may think I'm losing half an hour, but research shows that you're really gaining much more because you come back to work with a new energy and a new focus and really a greater ability to be transformative in the work that you're doing. So there you have it, 7 different tools to explore and experiment. You know, work from home is here to stay, and unfortunately, sometimes the feeling of loneliness and detachment is also here, but it doesn't have to be. I invite you to explore maybe one of those 7 different tools and integrate it into your life. If you've got some other suggestions around what you're doing to combat loneliness, I'd love to hear about them and put them in the comments below. You know, it doesn't have to be that work from home is lonely. It is a wonderful opportunity for us to access all different types of activities for us and to make work more convenient. But let's make sure as well that we're being very cognizant of the risk of loneliness. And if you've enjoyed this video, I invite you to watch the next one, which explores why self-care is so important in the workplace.